Welcome, welcome back to the channel. Today we have the three of us. Malasinio and Nick are in the building, and we're going to provide you with a manager's tier list. How you doing, guys?
Sorry, I was just looking at you know, when we were waiting there, Madison, did you clock? You could see each other at the bottom screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Anyway,
So you were just looking at the countdown.
Yeah, but what else are you going to do?
No, because basically at the bottom of our screens, people won't be able to see it. We can see each other while we're waiting for the countdown.
Oh, I didn't know.
So
okay.
I saw you grin to yourself a little bit when the countdown was
No,
going.
just that music it's actually a really good song. But anyway, one day I'll try and make
Anyway, yeah, we like the countdown. And like I said, welcome back to the Fallen Giants podcast. We're going to do a tier list on the Premier League managers. Is there much else to be said, or do you want me to bring it up?
No, fuck it, go for it. Yeah. Do you want to pre-warn them, Chaz, about potentially Tuchel in this? And
yeah, so just to give you a little bit of background, obviously you can see the tiers: elite being the best, quality, solid, meaty as in mediocre, and trash. We obviously also have Scott Parker and Tuchel in the bottom, and as they're sacked, we won't comment.
And Arteta twice.
Yeah, Arteta's twice apparently. We've got a cut off one. Yeah, he's at you wait and see, you know. But we'll leave them down the bottom. If you want to hear our views on the Tuchel sacking, go to our previous debate, previous video on the Chelsea situation. Yeah, probably link it in the description.
Wicked. Yeah, get them views up on that video. It's disgraceful.
So, how should I just go in order, or how do you want to start this?
Yeah, go in order of what it has at the bottom, to be fair. Is that Bruno Lage, first?
Yeah, Bruno Lage.
Well, we'll discuss them briefly before we put them in. Some more than others, obviously.
Yep.
Bruno Lage, what do you lot make? We've only ever seen one season in the Prem.
Yeah, it's hard to get full judgment on him, I'll be honest. But
let me just double check where he was at before. I swear wasn't he in the Championship before at one point? I can't remember if he was or not.
I'm not sure.
I think he was, because he was the assistant manager at Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea, and then he went to Benfica for a year. Then then came back to the Prem.
I really like him. I think they're a solid team.
Where did they finish last year, Chaz? They were solid. They were at least top. Was it top 9? Was it 9th?
Yeah, I think 9th.
Even.
I think it was 9th.
No, Leicester were 8th. So 9th place. His first season, you're right, Chaz. We ain't got a massive case study to go off, but from that first season, they did impress me. The way they went to a few big teams, and I think they caused every big team a problem really last season, to be honest, as well. Like, they were good. Malison, you said it screams like another Nuno. You were thinking very similar. You were saying.
Yeah, I really like the way that the Wolves. I just think they're a really reliable team now. I think the fans are probably quite happy at the moment and quite content with how they're playing. It's not scintillating football, but they've got a really good structure. I think it
got to a point last year, Chad. You know, when it hit January, I was like, "Oh my god, this guy is serious. Like, he's gonna be a manager that people are gonna look at beyond Wolves." But it kind of dithered down a little bit.
Yeah. So I was gonna say to someone to play devil's advocate is, especially this season. I know we're only 6 games in. People would say that they're very boring.
I've seen people say that. I have seen people.
Should they arguably be getting better with the team they've got? Because they've got a good team and squad, really.
Yeah. You know, as we're going along, Chaz, with this tier list, I think we should switch them if we feel like.
No, there will be somewhere we make a change, I reckon.
Because at the minute, I'm edging towards solid.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I even mentioned the word solid, so yeah.
But you're right, Sinio, you did.
I was not. It's hard because it's such a short time, but yeah,
solid describes Wolves as a team as well. I think
do feel like
consistent and reliable.
As this tier list goes on, he could sliver down to meaty. I'll see though.
Okay, well, we go with solid to start.
Yeah. Starting off with solid.
Well, next is
Antonio Conte, Senior, your guy. Go on. So I want to know where you're putting him.
So I'll just say straight away, he's elite. He's the best manager we've ever had, and
Oh my god,
likely ever will have, unless we change our structure.
Hold on, what about, was it Bill Nicholson when he won the leagues in the 60s, right?
Yes, but I don't know him, so
so it doesn't count.
But I'm sure he did well as well. But I'm just saying from what I've seen, and he's just turned the club around. We were in such a low point last summer. He's just, I mean, I could go on to him for hours. I'm sure lots of Chelsea fans and other fans will agree as well that he's just tactics spot on most of the time. Got a good man management style with players, some tricky players as well, but doesn't ever throw players under the bus. He'll respond in the correct way and in a professional manner, and that's what I like about him.
When we're saying elite, Chaz, we'll change it around, as I said, when we go along, but this is like a few managers going to enter this category, I think.
You don't want to be putting a hell of a lot of people in here, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. This should be the top of the top, the top echelons of the managers.
Yeah. And I get there's going to be a few that potentially some people will argue there's a fine line between quality and elite, but that's the reason why elite is the top. So that has to be.
I think
the only thing I would say to like come back at Maddison, because I'm going to do this for most managers, is I agree. I think I'm going to put him as elite just to stay that before I sort of play devil's advocate. But if he doesn't win stuff with you, is he going to get, because he's built up this reputation and we know he's an elite manager and succeeded everywhere else, will he get let off in a sense that you'll start to blame players and et cetera before you blame him?
Similar to Mourinho in a way, in a weird way, like similar to almost like you have to apply Spurs tax to these managers because
like even he can't do it, but that doesn't make him a bad manager. That still makes him
no. I would because of the way Maddison was just describing him and how much he was lauding him.
Yeah,
I would put him in a different. I would expect him to be, and Maddison probably expects him to be the guy to break that.
He's the only guy. He's the only manager right now in the world. And
no. Well, no. If you have Pep or someone like that, then you would.
Okay, apart from Pep and Klopp and a few others, but pretty much it was available for sure. Like
you're expecting him to break the mold and achieve stuff.
Yeah.
He has to go put him elite, Chaz.
But also one more thing is
he's won a Premier League, Chaz. He's won a Premier League.
He's got a good connection with our director of football Paratici, both Italian, and also them combined has surely it's got to change the culture of the club. It already has started to. So,
all right,
I rate him a lot as well. I was always going to put him there, but I'm just saying that.
Oh my god, I've got my hands ready for this one. I'm rubbing my hands.
Stevie G. Leader, legend.
Trash. Absolutely shocking. I mean, listen, go on. I'm willing to hear arguments. Go on if you don't want to pitch anything.
I've got no arguments.
Go on, Chaz. Go on, because I can see Chaz is the tip of his tongue. He has something ready.
He's got that devil's
response. I just don't know. I don't know. Is it too early on to say he's complete trash?
No. I'm going to stick with trash because do you know what it is? Maybe it is. Listen, we're doing it right now. That's the point, isn't it? We're doing it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and we have to
make decisions. I just think to myself. Obviously, he took over. When did he take over last year? It was like, how long has he been in charge there now?
Isn't it a year now or a season?
It's been a year already.
I think so. Not. Maybe not. Maybe just under then. But
I'm not too sure, Nick. But just say maybe it was around months into the season or something.
Hold on, I'm checking now. So he took over. Just before Christmas last year. So it's nearly been a year. It's been 10 months or so.
Okay, so when he first came in, the form improved, right?
Yeah. I remember.
Then they got to a stage where they were sort of set, like, well, not that they were trying to get out of relegation, but they got into that mid-table, I don't know how many games there was left. Let's just say 10, and
they really dropped off.
Yeah, they were on holiday. As the terms said, teams go on holiday, right?
I mean, for me, that was an excuse though, because now going into the start of this season, it just shows you that it wasn't just a holiday. This was genuinely someone that the team didn't have chemistry, or tactically he wasn't quite right as well.
Yeah.
And Chaz, we've mentioned several times about he can't quite find the balance of playing two up front, whether to play wingers, and he just hasn't still got to grip. Listen, we're talking off the back of them drawing Man City, which was impressive, but they still have been very underwhelming for the last.
And that's an outlier.
Yeah, I can't back up the form or anything. I'm just asking the question of, has there been any signs? And if not, then I suppose he has to be trash, because if you can't find any signs, their form off the back of last season into this season has been pretty awful.
Chaz, you can take into his Rangers account, because we're judging the managers as a whole in their career. But the thing is, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has taken over and probably done better. Well, no, not better, but he's definitely not made them any worse, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, the argument will be that he took over a Rangers team that had to get back to compete with Celtic.
Yeah, I get you. I just think for the minute he needs to go in trash, bro. I just think. Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this one is a foregone conclusion, right?
Yeah.
For me, he's arguably the best manager ever manage in football. So, I'll be like, Senior, any comments on Pep?
Like, anyone challenging that?
Pep's just Pep.
Yeah, it's just
Pep's just, he's a goat.
Wherever he goes, and just consistently, just robotic. That's the one word I have.
Chaz, this is like doing a player tier list and putting Messi or Ronaldo in. This is for me. Like, this
I'll be honest. If anyone wants to argue that in the comments, please comment, because
don't bother, because it's going to get taken down.
Yeah, no, fuck.
You moderate this stuff.
We've got a lot of evidence to show that he's.
It's a non-argument. It's a non-entity argument. It's just no point for me. Listen, we'll give. I'm sure throughout the season when we do many podcasts, we're going to be complimenting Pep a lot, to be honest, as well. So
I mean, it should be another tier above, and he'd be in that probably.
But that's hope. That's just see if he can finally get that forbidden Champions League that City want. Let's see if he can get it over the line.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only.
That's what he's missing.
Literally, and he's won those before, many times.
Yeah. So Pep's Pep. Yeah. Go on. Let's go on to the next one. Who we got? Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe. Yeah.
Oh, I like this. So this is.
Yeah, I like this.
This is the most interesting one yet. I feel like this is because he brought Bournemouth up, kept them up for a good 4 years, which is so impressive for a Bournemouth team alone. The capacity of their stadium is about, was it like 11,000 or 14,000 or something like that?
It's basically not a Premier League stadium.
Yeah, it's not. And he kept them up, and then he did. Let's be honest. We'll take into account he did take them down. He took them down after a while as well. And I would say that did tarnish his legacy slightly, because Chaz, remember, he was linked with big jobs, and then when he took them down, he kind of went off the radar a little bit, didn't he? As well. He wasn't in management for over a year. He wasn't in management, maybe nearly 2.
I argue he did the right thing though. Potentially jumping back into a team that potentially wouldn't have given him the right reputation.
I don't know if you've seen the quotes, Chaz, but he said when he learnt a lot during that time that he had off, he was saying he's changed so much as a manager. If you look at some of the frailties he had at Bournemouth, he's kind of ironed them out at Newcastle. And he even said the other day, I read a quote on Twitter, he said that the 2 years he took out, or just under 2 years, he's changed his views on football, and he's a much harder guy now. He just changed all his opinions basically on the game. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you lot knew, but when he was off, he was going to. I think he went to have. I was watching Trippier on the. I think Trippier was saying it on the True Geordie podcast, but he was going to games like Atletico, going to France to watch Marseille, and he was taking notes from different coaches across Europe as well. So he's a student. He's a student of the game, and he's impressive.
I'd say he's one of them, if not the most improved coach for sure, or manager. Yeah. And that I'm still waiting to see how far he can go with them. I still think he has these limitations with even a bigger squad that they might acquire in the future. I don't know. But
I
we'll
think
see.
he's in quality, by the way.
I think he is. Because only reason I say it is because I'm looking at Large in solid. That's why.
Yeah. I potentially would have looked at it slightly different if we started with him in mediocre.
If we put Large in Meaty, would you potentially even put, because I don't know if you've seen other people do tier lists, they put like you can be at the higher end of solid and the lower end of quality. For example, you've put Pep ahead of Conte, for example, in the elite.
I've got a question. If you're putting Large in solid, surely Howe is also in solid if you're going with results based
why
opinion, because they're getting fairly similar results.
Yeah, but you have to think about when
Howe is not winning every week, is he?
No, but when he came in last year as well, he did have form that would be way better than Wolves.
Actually, you're right. And Chaz, was there not only like a gap or a place or two between the two teams anyway at the end of last season? And I remember Newcastle started 14 games without a win.
You know, a lot of people have heard it, but something like 14 games they hadn't had a win.
That's exactly what I said. That's
how much of that is down to the squad he has? Because
exactly
has a better squad than Wolves. Howe has a better squad.
No, he doesn't.
No, not than Wolves. Wolves have a good squad.
Yeah.
Like, I know, don't get me wrong, Newcastle is improving and they've made decent additions.
Signings,
but as a whole, they still had the likes of much poorer players than like Wolves actually have players that are European quality.
Wait, you talk about some of the shitty Newcastle, you know, the likes of bloody
I don't know if he's left now, but they had Isaac Hayden.
But but
no, but you mean even the likes of Ryan Fraser and Miguel Almiron and like fucking and even I like Shelby, but it like
even Shelby,
even Joe Willock to a certain degree as well. Like let's be honest, that some of them are crap.
Look, at the end, Willock plays a lot of games for them. Almiron plays a lot of games for them, and I'm not saying I'm not giving them any criticism for what they've been doing as a player, but they're not better than Ruben Neves or Adama Traore.
Chaz, they signed Chris Wood for fuck's sake as well. They signed and they were relying on him. So, but anyway, so I would for the minute put Howe in quality.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Senior? Though, what would you? Personally
well, I said solid, but you have convinced.
Would you put him on the higher end of solid?
You convinced a bit because of the form. If we're looking at when he came in, you know. And
would you want to move him down if you were to put Howe in solid or
no? I'd still put I still put Large in solid. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next one.
Jesse Marsh.
Jesse Marsh. Okay.
I really like this guy.
I mean, wait. That's not golf. What you like as him as a person? That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, you said that out. Jesse Marsh. It's a weird. So he came in. He done his job. He kept Leeds up on the very last day of the season.
Yeah, and you can't. I don't know how you see that, but for me, it wasn't the most impressive. They managed to survive.
No, they weren't great when he took over. No, they weren't any. Obviously, he took over a legend there, Bielsa. So it's hard to take over someone like that, especially with his methods as well.
That credit, he does.
And then obviously, at the start of this season, like they've had their leads at the end of the day, so they're going to lose games. So they started the season well, haven't they? Really, relatively well for the standard of their club.
Yeah.
Well, they're sitting in 9th place. They got 10 points after 6 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses.
I feel like he's a manager that arguably. This is why I'm looking at the Wolves manager, thinking maybe we should go Meady because.
Okay.
I don't know if Marsh has a little bit more excitement and more like a bit more dynamic as a coach and I don't know how to explain.
You've got to take into account Salzburg, very very high reputation. He led he had the likes of Haaland. He was managing the likes of Haaland and players like that, and Szoboszlai and Minamino. When they played Liverpool a couple of times, they gave them really good games and stuff. And Salzburg were a threat in the Champions League as well. So and they were known. We all knew he was part of that the Red Bull group. So where it's the likes of Hasenhüttl, Rangnick, they've all come from, and we know his style, the pressing, intense.
just thinking, like, I know we'll come on to him later, but like, and he's probably in different sort of sense, but like, we like Potter for them sort of dynamic moves, bit of attack, not afraid as well, you know,
very
attack, high press. And I'm just wondering if Marsh has that more excitement to be better than mediocre, but whereas, don't know if
my opinion is that I think that Marsh, I really like him, but I think that's because I see potential in him to get much better and to maybe be in that quality bracket. But right now, maybe he is midi right now. And
so, Chaz, sorry, I do got to take into account. Obviously, he's been part of the Red Bull group all the way through to New York, to Salzburg, then to Leipzig, but it didn't work out for him at Leipzig before. That's why he came to Leeds. Because remember when he joined Leipzig, Chaz, I was saying to you, "Oh, this is perfect transition now," as in he's now gonna take his methods from Salzburg to Leipzig, and it never worked. So he got sacked last season. So, but it's admirable that he's come to the Premier League and kind of tried to reinvent himself again and go again.
Yeah, I mean, and I know it's early days, but you have to look about how many players they signed and young players, and it seems to be all working at the moment, really.
What would you say is missing from him to reach the higher end?
It's just time. I think it's just time.
Because I see really
potentially player quality. He might have to make a jump just to get himself up there.
Yeah.
Listen, he's still only 48 years old. He's still young for a manager.
He could end up doing what Potter's done in a way, as in gets that break from a top club in
That's what I'm.
Senior, if you didn't know, his college career played for the Princeton Tigers.
Oh,
he's an American college.
I don't know if I have him better than the Wolves manager though. I think I might.
I think I'm going to have to be inclined to agree. I feel like at the minute.
See,
I'm moving Lars down to Meady. I'm moving down to Meady.
I'd put. I know it's weird, but I'd put Marsh as Meady right now, just because he's unknown. But his potential could be quality. You know, it's
Chaz.
He's barely
I feel a bit harsh putting Lars down to Meady though, because at the end of the day, he's finished 9th, and this season's still early on, kind of thing as well.
But 9th is very good for them, don't you think?
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, solid for some reason. It almost feels like they should be Prem proven, does the job.
Kaz, for the minute, oh God, this is tough. I'd put Marsh in the same category as Lars.
Yeah, next to him.
But just put him there for a second, put him there. But I just want, we'll readjust it towards the end.
But it's not a huge criticism for both of them to be Meady because they're so new. Like Madison said, there's still a lot of potential that hangs on their heads.
Yeah. But I feel like, Chaz, once we get more in this list, we're going to start realizing who's Meady, who's actually solid.
Jurgen Klopp.
It's elite. It's elite. It's
good.
I hate it, but he's my most hated manager in the league by a mile. Look at Chaz just quickly hovering over.
Yeah, which one do you want?
Oh, is he better than Conte, Senior?
Yeah, he is.
I'd say they're about level, but the only thing is, I'd say Klopp is slightly higher because he's because of the Champions League. That's why.
Yeah, and I think
and the Premier League.
No, I know in terms of, but I mean.
No. Klopp's better.
As an overall manager career.
At the end of the day, Klopp's won 2 Bundesligas with bloody Borussia Dortmund as well. And also you've got to take into account that Klopp's actually done it at a club for longer as well. For example, he's built something, whereas Conte, as much as this isn't a disrespect to Conte.
He moves around quite a lot.
Yeah. So I think you've got to put. I mean, is Klopp's not as good as Pep though? We're saying, yeah. He's not as good as Pep.
No. Well, he tried to keep up with him, and then
yeah. But Chaz, would you never argue about? I just don't want to. I fucking hate the man. I despise him. But I'm just gonna argue for the sake of it that if you gave Pep this Liverpool team and funds, and Klopp the City team and the funds, would we be looking at it differently potentially?
Yeah, potentially. I see what you mean. Yeah, I do see what you mean.
I would say no, really.
Okay.
Because I think that the way Klopp likes to run anyway is not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everything he likes to be able to work with the tools he has in a way and get the best out of them.
It's true, Chaz. That's a really good point. Alison said actually, we don't know if he got given all these funds. Will he be? We don't know if he would be as good.
There is a question marks around both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
Fat Frank.
If we're putting Gerrard in trash, you got to put Frank in trash.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I do want to always spearhead two sides of the argument. Yeah. Derby, he done not bad. He just didn't quite make it to the Premier League. He couldn't get the playoffs. Then Chelsea, what was it? Did he get top 4 first season? Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, he did. Can't believe that.
Got top 4 with a transfer ban. And then obviously it all came crashing down. They got to the FA Cup final, and then it all came crashing down the season after. And then he took some time out, took over Everton, started absolutely horrifically, and there's been little improvements of recent time. But all in all, Chaz, his time at Everton's been shit, hasn't it? Really, when you think, I know they didn't get relegated.
You have to put into the case of how far Everton's expectations have had to drop, and I'm not saying it's all on his fault.
No, because Chaz, even under Rafa, they were still shit, to be honest, as well.
But that club now is in a position that staying up is a good thing, whereas a club at Everton should be much higher than that.
Yeah, the only thing that he has with him is that he hasn't really had that much backing from the club.
No, he hasn't had
and the chairman has even kind of said that, really, that they don't have the money.
I've seen more signs from Lampard than I have Gerrard. At this stage.
Put Lampard ahead of Gerrard quickly. Put him.
I don't really. I've seen. Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. They're both.
I think there's more signs that. Well, at the end of the day, I mean, it's easy to say that, but I just think that Gerrard has a better squad there to do things, progress with, and I've seen better signs with Lampard, in my opinion. Well, and the thing that tarnishes him is a little bit of the Chelsea thing, but he couldn't turn that down. So
yeah. All I'm going to say is thank God Paul Scholes is in management at the minute.
Oh, yeah. Some of the comments. Oh, God.
Well, to be fair, Chaz, Scholes was at Oldham for a little bit. So then he went horribly. I don't even think he...
You're very lucky there. Very lucky. In fact, yeah.
Also, Marco Silva.
Marco Silva. Okay.
Which club number?
You're not really joking, are you, though? That's the thing. When you do that. No, wait. So we've got another Portuguese. So where are we going on the timeline of Silva, Chaz? He was at Everton, didn't do well again as well at Everton.
Yeah, I mean, in this whole sort of thing, he was at Hull, then went to Watford, then Everton.
Watford?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they were getting rid of every manager.
Oh, yeah. I do remember, yeah. So he's been about. I mean, I actually do remember, Chaz, when he first came in from Olympiacos to Hull, he was cut. Remember people really scrutinizing it because Hull got rid of someone, didn't they, at the time? I don't know if it was Bruce or not, I'm not sure who it was.
They did have Bruce, didn't they?
Or was it Chris? I can't remember who it was. But they got rid of someone and they brought in Marco Silva, who no one knew about. And I remember, Chaz, watching Gillette Soccer Saturday, and everyone was like, why are they bringing in this guy from Olympiacos as well? There was just we didn't know anything about him. And then he's had a bit of an up and down career in England, hasn't he? Ever since then.
Well, I think that's why he got the Everton job. So at one stage he became sort of highly touted.
Yes, yeah. You're right.
When Everton were trying to achieve stuff, and that's why he got the job at Everton.
It was on merit. It was on how good he was doing in England. Yeah.
But then it swiftly sort of went the opposite way around. But then he sort of, at the end of the day, they were impressive last season in the Championship, and now you have to judge him on him bringing the team in. And they've started well.
Very well, yeah. They started better than what we both thought they would.
Yeah. It's whether it continues, I suppose, but...
Do you find it hard not...
Is he meaty?
Do you find it hard... This is going to sound... Do you find it hard not to... Look, he's got his Portuguese compatriot here. Do you find it not hard him not to put him in the same category as Lars, though? This is what's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, okay, Silva's had more torrid times than Lars in England, but we've got a larger case study with Silva.
That's the thing. Yeah, I was going to instantly come back at you and say that he's gone down with teams, right? But
yeah,
Large hasn't been in that position, so...
Large is an awkward one to put, isn't it?
But I feel like Large might not be in that position because I think if he sets his team up defensively, not defensively, but compactly, and therefore they don't concede that many goals. And I think they're just not going to have those problems, which, yeah.
I do honestly think, Chaz, as we go on, large might go down to meaty, because I think they've got a good squad and they could be doing a lot better than what they're actually doing.
I am sort of thinking, like, I looked at the league. I know it's early on, but they've scored 2 goals.
And it's no, Chaz, drop down large to meaty.
But they don't concede many. They don't.
Yeah, but I know that. But Senior, they didn't concede many under Nuno. They've got too much.
Yeah, but it is only the start of this season as well.
But one thing I'll say, even from last season, they weren't ever scintillating. They've got too much attacking talent not to play good football. To be honest, as well, when I look at Neto,
is that what they're?
No, I just think they should be playing a better brand of football. I really do feel
it's a results-based game, and they finished ninth,
but not with the style of players they have. They've got a lot of technical players. They should be playing better football.
Yeah, like right now, their lineup, in my opinion, looks better than a top 10 lineup.
Oh, mate, their lineup is 7th on like that. It's better than Newcastle's. It's better than West Ham's. It's better than a lot of teams.
That's what that's.
Senior, you've got it. You can't they should be doing better. And the thing is, you say it's only the start of the season, but the teams they've not, Chaz, they haven't even had a hard fixture list at the start of the season.
Yeah, agreed. Good old Moisey.
Hold on. You just thrown Marco Silva into Meady though, yeah?
Yeah, with Lodge. That's what you said. You asked me to do that.
It's fine. Go. Yeah, it could change. I think Silva could change our minds.
Moisey.
Oh, my, he's been about for fucking donkeys, hasn't he? He's been out for so long. Moisey is
some highs at Everton.
I'd go for quality. I'd go for quality, actually. Because I know they haven't got top 4 when they've needed to sometimes.
Chaz, you used to rate one. The thing is, it's hard to argue with quality.
Yeah, before.
Do you know what it is?
I mean, Everton was brilliant with Everton as well. So it's two out of maybe 3 big clubs that he's actually done, it almost exceeded expectations. Like, we're talking about West Ham now as top 4 contenders. We wouldn't have said that maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Do you know what it is? Chaz, I think you're thinking the same as me. He's either the higher end of solid or the lower end of quality.
I'm just wondering if he epitomizes solid.
Yeah, as in a career, like a whole career's worth of solid. But then, Chaz, in the grand scheme of all these managers in the Prem, the
longevity of his career, I think he is quality. I think.
But at the same time, as much as we're giving him
games, they do well in big games.
Malison, you're forgetting about Sociedad and Sunderland as well. When he was manager of them, and he didn't do well.
And that's what I mean. Even if you take his whole career a little bit out of it, then. So you saying he's been quality at West Ham?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he probably is a quality manager then, really.
No, but Chaz, we got to take into account the Sociedad. Chaz, you got to take into account between leaving Everton, going to United, so for 4 years, he was almost a laughing stock at one point. He was such a thing, and then he came back to West Ham. And remember, Chaz, he didn't do well at West Ham first time round. Then they signed him up permanently. Remember, he was only there for a year before.
Yeah, for me, I'm sticking. Oh, it's you guys can make a decision, but I think he epitomizes solid.
Just remember, Chaz, West Ham fans, when he took over second time round, West Ham fans weren't happy about it. It was down to him to change their minds, and now they've changed their minds about him.
Yeah, and I still, the reason I'm going solid as well is a little bit harsh on him, but I still feel like potentially if West Ham wanted to go even further, they would have to look at him eventually. You
just think with him, he's a very old manager now, so it's just he's an old school kind of manager. That's the thing. It's just like you think maybe the game is beyond him.
Potentially like new ideas and the way of dynamic play and stuff like that.
If you're going to do that, I'll definitely put him at solid at the first of the solid though.
Yeah, like he's the most. Yeah, I agree with that. Are we happy with that then?
What are we saying, Senor? You said quality, Senor.
Yeah, I mean, I still really put him as quality just because his career has spanned.
You happy for him to be the best of solid?
Time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah,
He could move up.
He might move up. Yeah, he might move up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Graham Potter.
Here we go. This is relevant news now. Graham Potter.
Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, you can't. There's no games for him to go off, but so basically Brighton. But
the thing is, though, Chaz, this is the thing. I rate Potter a lot, but to put him in quality, to put him in quality is one of them that, again, he hasn't been at the top level enough. I feel like as well, like as in, even in the Premier League, what's he had like 3 years, or not even that as well, like in the Prem.
The other thing, yeah,
but then Eddie Howe hasn't had much longer.
Yeah, but it's just because Eddie Howe's been around for longer, isn't it? It's good
to put him in quality. He hasn't. I know again, actually Eddie Howe hasn't, but he hasn't done it at Chelsea yet either. Do you know what I mean? He's only done it at Brighton.
No, but you have to look at what he has done.
I know he's exceeded expectations, but they still haven't. It's not like it finished in Champions League places or
but whether you rate the football or not, he took a 4th division Swedish team to the top and competed in European competitions.
Yeah, he was at Östersund for 7 years.
But do you wonder if he's someone? Do you wonder if he's a I don't know what you call him, but a carry manager? So he's carrying a small team to exceed their expectation, rather than a manager that can win at the highest level, i.e., with Chelsea in the Champions League or something.
Yeah, but I don't know how we can judge off potential failings or potential at Chelsea.
Yeah. But maybe that's something to see.
I think I really like Potter's brand of football. I think he's revolutionised, like just everything about Brighton in general. We've seen them in a different light, and I do take into account his Östersund time. You know, they went to Arsenal, won at the Emirates a few years back but it's just. I just feel like I don't know. It's because in England, his time in England has been so short in the grand scheme of things that I just don't know what to. God, I do put him in.
Yeah, but like Nick, if you look at it, you've got Marsh, who's had 1 season in England. We've got him solid.
Yeah,
and Potter's at least had 3 seasons.
Yeah, but I did like Marsh's, I guess, at Salzburg, but I don't know.
And Potter,
I put Potter as quality.
But Brighton are sitting in 4th this year after 6 games.
But I feel like I'm imagining with Maddison here that I thought it's a little bit disrespectful to Moyes than here.
Do
you know what it is, Chaz? I know we're going off now. It's the fact that we're putting Graham Potter ahead of David Moyes, who's had a real established career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A real established, like been in the game, like he's almost like a legend. He's like an icon of the Premier League.
I'd put Potter and Moyes in quality.
So are you saying though, Chaz, that Potter is just instantly better than Moyes throughout any point in Moyes' career? If you know what I'm saying, like I don't.
Not necessarily at any point, but I don't know how where we're going with this in terms of the current Premier League season. That's how I saw it, in a sense of.
Yeah, well, unless they're exceptions like Klopp, because they've started poor as well on that. But then, I'm happy to put Potter in quality. I'm happy to put him in there. I just want like. I find it just uncomfortable with the Moyes thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but at the moment he's at the best, so he could potentially move up there.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm happy to put Potter. I think below Howe at the minute. You know, I'm not gonna lie. You remember, Chaz, we had this conversation, didn't we? I put Howe above Potter. I did as well. We've done a recent thing, me, you, and Ollie.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me because I rate both.
I'd put Potter above Howe for sure.
Not for sure. Like, I don't know why this is for sure business.
No, 100%. I really 100%. I think Potter's potential is even higher as well.
I don't know though, man. We're disrespecting Howe too much here. I feel like
no. He's good manager, but I just don't.
No. I think both of them are students of the game, yeah. But Howe really has one thing Howe's done, and Potter hasn't had the chance to do yet. Howe has really remolded his whole philosophy. Like I don't know, like.
Yeah, I just feel slightly this week in particular that a lot of people have decided to be way more skeptical on Potter because he got the big job.
I'm not skeptical of him. I just think Howe should be definitely in the same category anyway as well.
So they're both big quality. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We were just saying.
I'd put Potter in quality anyway. So yeah.
Okay.
But
we got good old Ralph.
Yeah.
I think he has to go. He's going in.
I actually like him.
So do I.
I like it. I like his tactics. I don't know about his man management or his
lads. We've got to take into account. We've got to take into account this guy has not had any money spent on that team there as well. Like he's literally Chaz. Have we seen losing their best players like Danny Ings, for example? Yeah, like he is really. I mean, to replace Danny Ings with fucking Adam Armstrong from Blackburn is like he is just working with his hands tied behind his back, and at least we know. Do you know one thing I always rate about managers? We know their identity, their philosophy. We could identify a Hasenhüttl team without even knowing who they were.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, you summed it up. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Senior. We know that they've hit. He's been on the back of 2 9-0 drubbings from United and Leicester, and a 6-0 from Chelsea last year. But he keeps coming back from them, though, doesn't he? He always finds a way. And heavy.
And
then they have a performance in them. Do you remember when they played City last year? I don't know if they beat them or they drew with them. Like they have a performance, them.
They drew them. Yeah, they drew them.
Yeah. Do you remember Carl Walker-Peters scored? There's a real. He's working with nothing, man.
I put him in between. I think he's just below Moyes in solid.
Yeah, I think he's ahead of Marsh. And the funny thing is, Chaz, him and Marsh both came from the same Red Bull group.
Yeah,
that's the thing as well. And they both, and if anything, Chaz, them two have got identical philosophies in their teams as well. That's the thing. That's why have Leeds played Southampton yet? No, they have. It was 2-2. It was the 2-2 game. That is a fascinating game because them two it's just carbon copies of each other. Them two.
Yeah. Did you watch it or?
No, I just watched that. All I remember is that Leeds were 2-0 up and Southampton came back.
They came back.
Yeah. All right.
Brendan Rodgers.
Oh shit! Straight off the back of your new video, Chaz.
I know. I know. I'm going to say.
Check out my channel if you want. My problem with Leicester.
Brendan
Chaz,
Rodgers.
New upload he made was about Rodgers and Leicester.
I don't want to go. We're going to judge him a little bit on what he's done to now.
No, he's going. He. The thing is with Rodgers, you see the way we're looking at Potter and Howe. Rodgers had that hype at one point. He was in that. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to say, Chaz. I don't want to go overboard with Howe or Potter because one of the two could flop or not be as good as we thought they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably that will be the case. Yeah.
You think that Rodgers though has been harshly treated?
No.
Yes, because at the end of the day, he's won an FA. He'd do things that Maddison would fucking dream of. He's won a cup, for fuck's sake. He's won a trophy.
Off basically, so I said this in my video, but they hit the heights of winning the Premier League, never to happen again, probably, yeah?
Yeah.
The sort of unseen moment. And then it was about building Leicester into a European team, really. Yeah. A team that can consistently do it. And they've competed in European competitions and won an FA Cup. Now, like you just alluded to, Nick, Spurs, for example, they've wanted that cup for a long time.
And also, they've played good football for most of it as well. Very, very good style of football, a good brand. So we need to take the recency bias out of this for some of it. Not all of it. You've got to take into account some of it. But
this season, he hasn't been backed. It's just plain and simple, really.
Also, let's not forget when he was with Liverpool, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
as much as what's your point?
As much as they bottled they nearly won.
Also take that into account. Yeah, but they did, and that's what I'm saying. I was going to mention that I know. Okay, yes, he won the Premier League and the FA Cup.
No, he hasn't won the Premier League. He hasn't won the Premier League.
Leicester won, I think.
Oh no, he hasn't. Yeah, you're right. So he bottles it. He bottles it. He does. And for me, that pushes him down.
Won the FA Cup, then you said he bottles it. He bottles it.
They won the FA Cup though.
Yeah, but that's the only thing. And
but how can you talk? How can you talk?
Yeah, but there's a lot of managers that you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I also agree with, with them. You know?
Wait, hold on. You've had a complete brain fart here. What are you trying to say? What are you
say the same thing?
But what is that? Do you rate him or do you not?
I think he's mediocre.
He's mediocre.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't rate him. He doesn't rate him.
No.
Okay. For me, Chaz, just ignore what Malison said because I don't know what planet he was on for that moment there. For that segment, he just lost the plot.
This is a question I'll probably pose to you then, Nick. Do you rate what he's done over the years higher than Moyes?
Again, I find it tough to put Howe and Potter ahead of Rodgers. But I just need to. It's just one of them that because Rodgers have had we've known for so long, and he's done quite well at Swansea and at Brighton. And at Leicester.
So, from my point of view, it's the answer is yes. I'm arguing potentially Moyes might get sniffing quality later on, but I would have him in quality.
I think I would. I think I have to put him in there.
Because, all right, yeah, this season may collapse and all that, but up to now, that's a huge thing to continue doing it at Leicester. We're not talking one-off wonder.
Madison had him down as meaty.
He is though, but also we're talking about the Premier League as well. If we're waiting the Premier League as the heavy decide factor in this, he's not done that well with the squad that he's had. Even they've got a good squad.
He has done well with the squad he's had.
They've been getting in European competitions. That's top 7.
Yeah, and winning cups.
They've done it
twice, a couple of times, I think. Yeah,
twice out of how many seasons? 5.
Maybe I don't know. Sure.
But you got to put into but one season he's got to get there. Then he stayed in the competition for 2 years, I think, and then they didn't get in it, but they won an FA Cup, and then this year or last year
he's been at Leicester for 3 years, so twice out of 3 years, twice out of 3, Chaz, not even 5.
Yeah, I know, but you look at
and they still finished 8th last year.
So wait, hold on, twice in 3. Yeah, hold on, yeah. Let's take this into account, Senior. He's got 2 European finishes and a cup. And 8th place with an injured crocked squad last season.
Yeah.
No, he's in quality. He has to be.
And Liverpool, all right, you can argue you bottled it, but they never come close. At that stage,
but let's put this.
To win the league.
All right, go on.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. What if you put Potter in that position with the money that they've had, with the players that they've got?
I think you'd have a similar outlet. No, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
But I think Potter's potential is higher.
I don't think Potter could take Leicester. Me and Chaz were saying Potter's next step could have been Leicester before Chelsea. I don't think Potter takes this Leicester team to Champions League, to be honest. I think they have their limitations, especially with the way they've been backed in the last few summers.
Yeah, but it's just still the squad that they have is very good.
Yeah, but it's because he built that squad, and also it wasn't major signings. These squads, it was quite. They were very what's the word like niche about their signings. They were clever about them.
And also, you say their squad is very good, but I mean, very good is 7th place, isn't it? So that's where he's finished.
He had his limitations, and he's done it.
There's 6 teams that were better than him.
But then but then he hasn't exceeded though, which in any season really.
But he mixed it with he finished above Arsenal.
I mean, Madison, he won a trophy. Yeah, but he won a trophy.
Yeah, I know. Okay, the trophy. Yeah, that does push it, but. Bar the trophy then, but yeah, we have to.
No. So Chaz, switch Rodgers to the top of quality. This is honestly for the minute.
They're a bit more potential based.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll get a lot of hate for that, by the way, Chaz. For that one, I think there'll be people in the comments that will argue against us.
We'll come in the comments and talk to us.
I'll be in the comments. It's all right.
Chaz, clip this one up. Clip the Rodgers one up for Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it. Yeah, and more, and we could get people to interact.
So Scott Parker has been
leave that.
So we're leaving him. Steve Cooper, the Forest manager.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't have much knowledge of it. I don't really have much knowledge of his career.
He was at Swansea in the Championship. He has actually known, I think, as far as I'm known, he is known for playing good football at the Championship when he came into the Championship with Swansea and then Nottingham Forest.
Well, funny enough, he is on the shortlist for Brighton as a potential replacement for Potter.
Yeah, he is. He is one of these. Yeah, there's not a lot to go off. That's the problem.
He looks a bit funny, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, off the back of a very short sort of thing, I would have gone with Meady, but
he does look like he's on Mandy 24/7, doesn't he? He does. He does, Chaz. Have you seen his eyes and he's like his jaw quite a lot as well. I don't know what's up with him, but yeah.
At the end of the day, it's hard to judge because his big shot is this season, right? So,
and he got Forest up to the Premier League.
He got Forest up, yeah. I mean, at that one stage, I watched a fair bit of Championship, and I wouldn't have said that Forest were one of the contenders to come up.
He done what Lampard couldn't do with Derby. Let's be honest as well. So let's just put him in Meady. Just put him below Silva. I'd say, yeah.
All right, Eric.
My boy.
Here comes the biased Man United fan.
All right, this is interesting. I'm actually gassed for this one. I want to know where you lot are ranking him and that as well. And shit. Like we've only got his. Let me just quickly go on. I know we all know where he made his name was at Ajax.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Go on, Chaz. What's your opinions? Your early opinions onto this? So he's at Utrecht and Ajax. That's the only, and Bayern Munich second.
I'm going to say the top of quality would be my shot. And the reason I'm going to say that is because I don't think he's quite the elite, especially looking at the three that we've got there. Yeah, potentially could be, but in terms of some of the other managers, he has shown European pedigree in particular. You think of Ajax, how at one stage that team obviously was with Spurs, and I just feel like he sort of revolutionized them for a while as well.
People are going to be quick to judge that. He won the Dutch league. It's not that hard, but it's not about him winning it. It's the style he won it in, the manner. The thing is, it sounds like such a soft point, but the clubs he was linked with before United and that, he's always been linked with the big clubs in Europe, whether it's Man City, whether it's Bayern Munich, Barcelona. Like, there's something in there. They obviously believe he can reach that elite level. That's the thing as well. He can reach to the Contes, the Klopps and Peps or whatever as well. And I have to agree with Chaz. I do put him on the cusp of elite. Not quite yet. I think you're right though, Chaz. That Champions League run puts him in the quality category because they beat Real Madrid, Juventus. They beat some big teams along the way. And they play very, very good football as well. They didn't. And Chaz, you know what I'm saying? It's the style. They're not just beating these teams and winning these leagues. Yeah, they're doing it in such a good manner of football.
Yeah, and this is a different debate. But at that stage, when they went out to Spurs, like Poch was one of the best managers in the world. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Ian spoke about it. Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, he's in my opinion, he's quality. Yeah. And has potential to try and get up there, and obviously the idea is to take United back up there. So,
well, obviously United won. How are we going to judge him too much? He won 4, lost 2. It's hard. Like, if anything, yeah. The thing is, though, United. One thing he's shown already is adaptability as well, and the fact that he's not stubborn. He's not one of them stubborn managers.
Making big decisions as well.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, he only won the league by 2 points last year, Chaz, which showed how good. I think PSV were and Roger Smith was there because he had literally Ajax were amazing last year. Chaz, they scored 98 goals and conceded 19 last year. But they only won the league by 2 points. But yeah, Senior, any opinions on Ten Hag so far?
Yeah, I mean, we were linked with him as well.
I
would have been very happy with him as well. I think Conte's the right manager, I've said for us, but Ten Hag is just brilliant. He's going to do really well for you, I think, and he's just what your club needs right now. And also, just his style of play, as you were saying, it's exciting to watch.
Yeah,
and he's a perfectionist as well, which
he is. That's a good point.
In those top 3 at the top are all perfectionists, and that is something he has strongly in him.
I think that's a point though, Chaz. I've seen early signs, but obviously I never was incited enough when he was at Ajax, but because I've seen so much of him from pre-season all the way to now that he's very meticulous, and I can just see there's something in him. Do you know when you just know there's something in him that is part of that elite category. The way he thinks, his mindset, and his perfectionism.
Yeah.
You can see him sort of itching to make a decision on the touchline. And I watched him a few weeks ago, and I saw that in him. It's like a little spark in him. That you know, he was working things out and problem solving on the side really quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so quality. Thomas Frank.
He has to go in solid. Like, again, Chaz, you're almost looking at like the modern day David Moyes in this point as well. Like, he's just he epitomizes solid. He does as well. But I would definitely put him above. I think I'd actually maybe put him above Hasenhüttl and Marsh. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know what you think. What do you think, Senior, of Thomas Frank at Brentford? What he's done?
Yeah, I think he's. I like the way he approaches games as well. He thinks carefully about his decisions. He doesn't just throw people onto the pitch when he makes substitutions. He talks really well after the matches, and oh, sorry, we've lost it. Finds a solution for the next match. You know, what he analyzes really well, which is really good.
I agree with. I'm just wondering if he deservedly over Hasenhüttl yet. I wonder.
There's an argument.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Yeah,
because with Thomas Frank, Chaz, is that I'm almost predicting this, that I think he's just turned Brentford into a solid Premier League team. They're not going down anytime soon.
Well, he's linked with the Brighton job as well.
I mean, I probably wouldn't move if I was him, because Brentford aren't that far off, especially that Potter's left Brighton now. But I just think he's found the home at Brentford. He's just, you know what I love about them is that they are adaptable. They play good football, but they can also rough it up as well. They do play physical. Like I think he's isolated in-game management's good. Like, you know, the way they beat us 4-0 at the start of the season. He knew how to approach that game and how to get the best out of that team for that game.
Yeah,
he analysed he's probably going to have a plan for when they play Arsenal next week, potentially as well. On that, but you're right. There's a toss-up.
Where do you want him? In here?
I'd put him below Hasenhüttl. I'd put him just below, only because he's not been in the league as long. That's it.
Yeah,
but I do think he can go ahead of Hasenhüttl.
We're going to skip on to Vieira.
So we've got two more managers, yeah?
Okay. Yeah, Arteta and Vieira. Both Arsenal links.
I thought you were going to say Arsenal legends there for a sec, but then you backtracked. You're like, no, not quite with Arteta.
Vieira at Crystal Palace.
One of the most shocked me the most out of any manager in recent years. I feel like as well. Like, I really, really thought, like many people did, this was going to be a catastrophe. I thought when he first joined, I really thought this was a shocking decision. He's managed in the US at New York, and he had not a great time at Nice, to be honest, as well. I was genuinely thinking, do you remember, Chaz? It was out him and Lampard, and everyone was saying, why have they not employed Lampard instead of Vieira at the time? And everyone was getting on his back, but he has changed my mind tenfold for me. He's for me.
Yeah.
Again, you know, you're talking about identities and philosophies. We're starting to see with Palace that counter-attacking football, but then again, they can show possession football at home. He's got technical players, but he knows what he's doing. Vieira knows what he's doing. He knows he's got a technical back line. He can play from the back, but then he can also change it up. Very similar to Thomas Frank in terms of versatility in their teams. You've got solid players. He's got quick. I just think Vieira's he's solid, but he's right in the mix of that solid, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, what do you think of Palace and Vieira, Chaz, or both of you?
I think, to be honest, he's surprised me. I felt that it was quite a difficult job, really. He had to get rid of a lot of deadwood.
Yeah, Chaz, do you remember the turnover first season? How many players left? Half the squad had gone because they were out of contract. Like Gary Cahill and players like that, all left, and then they had to change it around. And the players he brought in, you know what? I don't know if it's him or their recruitment team, but they've got an eye for a good player.
I was going to say, actually, it links on that he's managed to work really well with the players he's got as well, like Zaha. And
he's got the best.
He's made them even better. He's improved them. which is what a good manager should be able to do. They should be able to coach and improve the players that they have as well.
And what about his performances in the big games as well? Away at City, away at Liverpool, beat United. They beat Arsenal 3-0 last year as well. And
Man City.
And Spurs. And Spurs 3-0. And they beat Spurs 3-0. I think we've got...
Yeah.
At the minute...
Where's he going, though, in this? Yeah.
He's ahead of Jesse Marsh at the minute. So I'm just looking... Yeah. At the minute, I'm tempted to put him in between Frank and Hasenhüttl. I think I might put him
above Hasenhüttl, but
really above him.
Yeah, I think he's showing.
The only thing is to like back Hasenhüttl up a little bit is the number of seasons we'll go back to, and would you not say that Palace have a better team than them, than Southampton?
Yes, they do.
But maybe only at the recent moment, if you know what I mean, from those signings that they've.
But there wasn't a lot of positions. There hasn't been where Southampton.
Chaz, actually, I would consider putting Frank ahead of Vieira, because did Thomas Frank take them up as well? Didn't he? He took Brentford up.
Yeah.
So it's one of them that Vieira didn't have to go through that journey of taking them up.
Yeah, true.
Then he had the extra pressure from the start because he wasn't used to the kind of the pace.
And they only finished 2 points difference last year.
I'd put Frank ahead of him. I would put Thomas Frank ahead of him for the minute. I would, honestly.
Yeah. And again, it's hard because Vieira potentially has more, might have, I don't know, some people might think he has more potential. But that's all we can see.
Even like Jesse Marsh.
Marsh has potential, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, like, it's hard between them 4 managers below Moyes. Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Mikel Arteta.
But least.
Right, so that's the end of the pod.
Oh, it's gonna hurt. This we kind of needed Ollie. We needed Ollie for this one.
We all agreed in elite.
What, Pep's co-man?
You can only just laugh, unfortunately, just banter it.
What, Pep's co-man goes in elite next to him?
Yeah, elite system.
Listen, Arteta is an enigma in itself. I think he might be the most out of every manager we've ranked, the 17 so far. Yeah. He might be the toughest to decide where he lies in this. It's such a tough, because effectively he's done what Lampard done by diving into a big job straight away, but he's actually managed to keep the job and change it around, whereas Lampard didn't get given that time. So,
and like, this is almost not backing him up, but you talk about that time, literally the time to change the whole team, pretty much. Not just giving him games. You've got to take into account some other clubs like Chelsea would have sacked him during that time. Where Arsenal, do you remember when Arsenal were in a real bad rut? They would have been gone already. That's the thing. So you've got to give credit to Arsenal for believing in him. So there is something there. I do believe there is something there. I think there is a spark. I think there is something. He's got, as I remember seeing a quote from Xhaka saying that he is a crazy guy and like he's like his methods, and he's a psycho when it comes to the game of football, basically. And I do believe that, and I can see it. And he's instilled this us against the world mentality at Arsenal. Yeah, and he sort of strikes me though, and it's going to be potentially unfair, but I've said this in previous things. It's all about achieving. Like, he's gone through the process now.
Do you think you see that in that solid category, Chaz? Any of them 5 managers do as good as Arteta if they were given time, if they were given the 3-year span?
It's very, very hard, but
with that Arsenal squad and belief and structure, because the things Arteta, I really like him, but he's had it all. He's been given everything. Like he's probably at the best club he could have possibly gone to in terms of giving him everything that he needs.
I look at those. Yeah, go on. Yeah,
I don't know.
Does Vieira do as well as Arteta if he had 3 years to change it around at Arsenal?
It's like I always want to say yes, but I feel like it's very easy to say yes at the same time. Does that hinder criticism a little bit too much on Mikel Arteta? Like, are we then saying that a lot of these managers with that time could have done what he's done, or are we saying that he's actually done something good for Arsenal?
Chaz, you see them quality managers that we've got. All 4 of them, you'd take over Arteta. You're saying, or not?
Yeah.
Okay, even Rodgers.
I know Rodgers looks, but how we debated him is how I'm looking at it. And to be honest, before we announced Arteta, Rodgers was linked with a job, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans got on board with him coming to Arsenal.
But then I do got to take into account of Arteta. He showed adaptability when he first took over, won a cup with 5 at the back.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
So, like, at the end of the day, he's got a trophy to his name already.
And the funny thing is, he is a trophy. Well, obviously, Conte's not been there for long, but he's got a trophy in a shorter amount of time than.
But to like play both sides, he's had 2 seasons where it didn't matter where he finished.
He finished 8th back to back.
That
is
and the manner in getting that position.
I feel like Chaz, the way that's kind of swung the pendulum back of winning the FA Cup, them 2 8th back to back 8 finishes as a thing. Like
and that's why it's very easy to say potentially yes that these managers would have been, because if they might not have got the FA Cup, but I don't know if that bought him that much time. It looked good at the time, but I don't know if that bought him time because it was so early on.
And the thing is, Chaz, if he does achieve top 4 this season, he's been given the time and the platform to do that. It's a slow progress, isn't it? It's a very slow progress. It's but that's where Arsenal were, to be fair. I'm on the cusp of. He's definitely in solid. I'm just on the cusp of putting him in quality or not.
I was gonna argue putting him at the top of solid.
Top of solid, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Senor?
I would almost.
He's had seasons like Howe and Potter.
Yeah.
Without really having the like, he's been allowed to finish wherever. Really, it didn't really matter.
The only thing I'd say is we put. Oh yeah, go on.
I think you lot have played some. If you're talking on the pitch, like we spoke about, remember early on? Before we went live, we were talking about Arsenal. I think on the pitch, we're starting to see very, very good football and a way of play. Like, it's up there with some of the best in the league at the minute.
Yeah, I just feel like potentially even the tier list has to be almost a process for him. So we're potentially saying solid. If he achieves this season, he'd move up to potentially quality, and then hopefully, as an Arsenal fan, we'd be hoping to go even more. But it's about basing him now.
We've put Brendan Rodgers in quality, and he's won a cup like Arteta. So surely Arteta should be in quality. Because they've had pretty much the same finishes as well in the seasons. And Arteta's done it in a short amount of time, only 3 years, and Brendan about 5, isn't it?
But then you got, obviously Rodgers was at Liverpool at one point. You got to take into account the resources and the club they're at as well.
And also Arteta, didn't he join when we got through the quarterfinals? So it was only 2 games.
Yeah, just 2 games. It was 2 games. Yeah. It was semi.
I know,
but then again, them 2 games were City and Chelsea.
Of course, you still had to do it, but it was a bit of a free hit.
Yeah.
But this is what did I say, by the way, before we mentioned Arteta? This would be the hardest out the lot to kind of categorize him.
See, the way I see it with Arteta is I think he still has that potential tag on him. And I think, like, I'm still, as a Spurs fan, I'm still worried that Arsenal are gonna improve drastically in the coming months.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen enough evidence that will happen. Certainly in big games, I think, against the top.
I think I'm putting Arteta at the end of quality.
Yeah, maybe it's fair to be at the bottom of quality. I can see where you're coming from, the bottom of there.
Yeah, I can see that. And so that's that.
That's our tier list.
By the way, before we wrap up the video, any changes or does it look okay?
Moyes has to go in quality.
Madison's dying on that hill.
I think that's the right 5 in both categories.
I think that's good. I think we've done well with that,
Yeah, okay. It's quite symmetrical, so that's right.
So, and we've gone for the 2 English golden boy midfielders in trash.
Well, because they're at clubs that they're not achieving what
and they're big clubs. They're at big clubs, big expectations. Yeah.
So as of now, they sort of had to be the trash ones.
You know, the only one I'm looking at, Chaz, Bruno Lage is quite harsh. That is the way we put him in that meaty kind of thing.
He should be.
Yeah,
solid.
but at the same time, you argue they're sitting in like 15th right now.
He's on the cusp of solid though. Is that he's nearly at solid, to be fair.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if he finishes probably in the top 10 this season, he would be solid.
Then he's definitely a solid manager.
Because then it's just early on for some of these.
No, not top 13. No. He's saying Wolves.
Yeah,
if they finish top 13.
No, they've got a better team.
No. Come on, you're underrating Wolves.
Solid. It's solid, isn't it? It's sort of.
They signed a midfielder for 50 million.
Yeah, come on, seen it. That's underwhelming. That is, if he finishes 13th. You just said top 13, so 13th. You're allowing him to finish.
If they get the results. All right. Let me finish there because I'm becoming deluded. So yeah. Anyway.
Thanks for wrap it up.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know if you disagree or agree on our tiers. There's probably lots of debate there. We already said, especially potentially Rodgers and others. Even some of us can't fully agree. So leave a comment for us. And thanks for watching the video. So at the end of the day, peace.